So how to sign up an account for Google Analytics? You simply go to Google Analytics. Most of us know how to create an account. You insert your username or password, or you just sign in your Google account. You can create your account via Google, whether using your company email or any other email. Then you insert the URL of your own website, some basic information. Then it gives you some code. That code you take and you put on every single page on your website. If you do not know HTML, your webmaster will do it in a second. So it's just putting some code on your pages. And then I try to include some of our related websites here. So here in this website, as you can see, we have the dashboard. The data that I have is between May 1st to May 31st. I have the number of visits. I can see that I had in this month around 10 million visits. They have seen around 50 million pages. On average, 4 pages per visit. The bounce rate, which is the time that people simply close that website, is almost 20% of those who came to my website. They just shut it down. They averagely spent around 10 minutes on my website, and I have around 18% new visits on a monthly basis. Those are around 2 million individuals who came to me this month, unique, and mainly they are coming from the Middle East region here, from Egypt and Saudi Arabia. We can also see that the traffic source is either direct, by simply typing the URL of the website, referring site by links leading to this website, or by search engines like Google, Yahoo, MSN. And then, here in this dashboard, I added the mobile devices, because we can see some increasing trend in using smartphones and PDAs to reach to different websites. So we wanted to see how that is interacted. So we can see here that mainly iPhone is the second type of mobile device that is available in this area. And on the left-hand side of the screen, we can see that we have different directions, like intelligence, visitors, so on and so forth. On that dashboard, depending on my role and my objective, I can customize it. I can change different parameters from that dashboard. So for instance, if I wanted to drop the mobile thing, I just shut it down and it disappears. I can still add or update. I can export this data into Excel, or I can email it to me on a daily basis or weekly basis. So it's a good way for us to interact with the site and to understand what's going on. Then you have some intelligence embedded, which is mainly a set of alerts. So for instance, here in this month, there is some automatic alerts, or I can create my own custom alerts. On the automatic alert part, I can see that I have an increase in 24% in my number of visitors, with almost 23% more visits that occurred, and an increased 20% of page views. And automatically, Google generates this information for us. So it gives us, if I'm trying to do something, probably Google will give me a hint that I'm significantly different than my previous trend, and that would help me in identifying how to move forward. Also, for instance, here, we can see that the US had some increased number of visits, almost 32%, with almost 25% more visits. I'm sorry, I mean 32% more page views with 25% more visits. So that when it comes to that section. Now that I understand some details about my site, let us try to understand our visitor. Who are our visitors really? If you click on the tab on the visitor section, you can see that the overview here, I get into more details. I have around 10 million visits, 2 million unique visitors, 50 million almost page views, and those are my numbers. I can find more details. So for instance, here you can see a green light and a blue light. That green light and the blue light is mainly coming from a comparison from this month and last month. How can I do that? You see here on the top right-hand side, May 1st, 2010 to May 31st, comparing to. If we click on that icon, it will appear for us that option. We can simply compare between weeks or months, and that would allow us to see how things are, and we can then compare the differences. And then we have benchmarking. In this slide, I included information from a different website that we deal with, not the initial one of 10 million, because here you can see that there are different numbers. Why is it different? Some of the publishers or some of the website owners have their concerns to share their data with the world so that they can get a benchmark. And mainly what Google is doing in benchmarking, they ask every single website, would you like to share your data with us? And we will let you know the aggregate numbers of all of those who shares with us. Then, me as a website, I can see, okay, this is the average in the industry, and this is where I am when it comes down to news and current events. So I'm doing better than the industry. But in terms of the pages per visit, I'm doing less than the industry. Some websites are okay with that. The larger the website it is, the more concerned it is, because it comes down to more strategic perspective. And would they say, do we want really to share our data with someone else? And this is when organizations have to start different strategic perspective. But anyway, so benchmarking actually, yes?
How do you define your industry? So comparing the numbers of this one and
Sure. On top here, comparing, you see, on the upper left-hand side, here you have a set of categories. Okay. So if you click on, you select exactly which, yes. Or you can just say against the entire internet, and that's it. So. Then we have a map overlay or a map overview. I can start zooming in, worldwide map, getting down. So if I go to the US to see how much visits, my initial site who had 10 million visits a month, how much visits do we have, I will realize that here mainly most of my visitors are coming from California and New York, and then some across. Then I can see the data on my website from a geographic perspective. For us, that is vital, because since my focus is on the Middle East market, it's very important for me to tell my advertisers, hey, by the way, I have almost 233,000 visitors or visits coming to that website in the US. This is a highly selected segment that I can use and I can target as much as I want. So then we can start sensing the value of that when it comes down to directing marketing campaigns and selling those advertisements to other individuals so that they can address the population that they are looking for. Then it's important for us to look at new customers versus old customers. When you come to my website, are you a recurring customer, a recurring visitor, or just brand new? Then I can see the percentage, I can see the changes using the new customer versus the returning one and their percentage. I would expect all the time that if I'm running a campaign, an online marketing campaign, or some SEO efforts, I would expect that the number of new visitors would be higher than the number of recurring visitors, or at least the percentage of the new visitors increased based on the effort that I did for my marketing campaign. And that is directly a one-to-one mapping that anyone would do if he's running a campaign. So for instance, if I'm running, let's say, a $10,000 campaign as a test to see something that I would like to do, the first basic thing that I will look at is how many new visitors have seen this ad, interacted with it, and came to my website directly. So this is kind of important when we look at evaluating new campaigns.